welcome to Aerotech's Automation1 motion control platform educational series. Aerotech is a company that solves your toughest precision motion and automation challenges. Automation1 is a motion control platform consisting of software-based controls and development tools, PC and drive-based control hardware, and hardware-based drives for servo motors and other devices. In this video, we will compare Automation1 and its predecessor A3200 and examine the differences between the two motion platforms. My name is Chris Charlesworth, and I am the European Control Systems Engineer for Aerotech. Let's begin by taking a look at the platform architecture. Now, there are differences between A3200 and Automation1, but there are also many similarities. To begin with, let's take a look at the A3200 standard architecture. This has always been a purely PC-based platform, and the A3200 was always based on a control PC that ran under a Windows operating system on a real-time kernel called InTime. As you can see from the diagram, there were a variety of layers to the whole system, and this is very similar to how Automation1 is structured. At the top level, we have the graphical user interfaces, whether they be provided by Aerotech, so Motion Composer, the Configuration Manager, Digital Scope, or provided by customized C, MATLAB, LabVIEW, and .NET applications that have been developed by our customers or by other third parties. As you can see, each of those parts would then link into the next layer down, which would come into effectively an internal callback service and a communication service. The key thing here is the communication service. That then gets transferred into the real-time kernel. That is the InTime section. And you can see we have what's called the SMC process. So the software machine controller process, where you have your multiple tasks, you run all your programs. And side by side with that, there was also a section for driving different field buses. And then down below the real-time kernel, we would have the Firewire, or more recently the Hyperwire motion bus, that would link all of the different drives together, and then the field bus devices via the field bus driver. Now, this was the standard architecture. We also had a remote architecture. This was a very simple change. It became a client-server system, meaning that the client running the A3200 development suite or the customized application would be split off from the rest of the system. So the client could be in another room, in another building, the other side of the world, technically. And then you would have the motion server doing everything else. So this is where all the real-time processors would be, and with the same architecture. In Automation1, we have carried on this theme, where it's always a client-server system. You always have the SMC, which acts as the motion server. And then above that, you have the client application. Now you can have user applications built on Linux or Windows, or you can use the provided Automation1 software suite under the name MDK, the Machine Development Kit. Now, you can always run the client on the same PC as the server, or you can run it on a different one. One of the key reasons for doing this is it allows us to create a drive-based controller as well as the PC-based. As I'm sure you're all aware from our other videos, and from your local sales engineers, the real power in Automation1 is that we have a very flexible method of applying our controls now. You have many of the same features A3200 had, but now not just on a PC-based system, but on a drive-based system as well. And of course, a drive-based system is often a more cost-effective solution. But you can see the same basic architecture. At the top level, we have a client application of some description. We then speak through the API libraries. That goes into a communication service inside the ISMC, which is where the motion engine, the Aeroscript engine, everything else works. Then that connects to the hardware on Hyperwire. So that's the key difference there. Of course, we also have our APIs. Now, much like A3200, Automation1 has a wide variety of APIs. On Automation1, the .NET and C APIs are almost the same as A3200. Feedback from customers recently has said it's been very easy to migrate these over. Many of the commands are very similarly named. The main thing is that the precursor, rather than saying A3200, will say Automation1. It does make it very, very easy to do this, and many of the API concepts are of course the same. There are a few differences, but those differences really are more about modernizing the programming aspects of the system. Also, we now have a full Python library, where A3200 never had that. We also have the LabVIEW library available for Automation1. That concludes this motion control platform educational video. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll enjoy learning about the differences between A3200 and Automation1. For more information, please visit the Automation1 help file.